What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be going over The Long Walk. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys like talking about movies, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. And like I said, today we are talking about The Long Walk. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, The Long Walk is the latest Stephen King book adaptation where we have 50 contestants going on a long walk, and the last to stand will win a prize and one single wish. Now, before I get started on my pros and cons of The Long Walk, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think about this movie in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if you guys have read the book and what do you think the differences between the two are, if you like it more as a film adaptation or you prefer the book better. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into my pros. And start with my pros. I just want to start off and say that the story and the characters of this movie are absolutely incredible. I enjoyed pretty much every single character, even the ones that you're made to hate. By the end of it, you still sympathize for them when everything starts kind of going down and starts going downhill for every single person and people start dropping like flies. It was absolutely a roller coaster of a movie. Now, for context, I gave it a little bit in the beginning, but essentially what The Long Walk is a yearly competition, from what I gathered, if I remember correctly, but it's a yearly competition where one contestant from each 50 of the states, so 50 contestants in total, pretty much apply to be part of The Long Walk, and only one of them is picked from each state. And you have to go on this walk with everybody, keeping a pace of at least 3 miles or up. You get several warnings if you go below that pace. But once you reach your maximum warnings, you are cut out and you get your ticket, so to speak, the way they kind of say it. But essentially, you get killed. And that is a crazy concept of a story. It seems so simple. Like how can you make a movie where 50 people are just walking interesting? But it becomes so intense. Just the slightest little moments when that first person, for example, goes under that 3 mile mark and the warnings start going, everyone starts panicking, like you get to the edge of your seat. There is so many crazy moments like that where everybody just starts panicking and trying to help each other, but they know by the end of it, there's only one person that's going to be left. And so how do they decipher when to help someone, when to just let them go? Like, when is the right way to go about this walk? And it's not like it's a walk like, oh, if you walk 100 miles, whoever crosses the finish line wins. No, it's literally whoever is the last person standing. We are not stopping until there's only one remaining at 3 miles an hour. It doesn't matter if you're sick, if your leg's broken, if you're bleeding, if you're whatever. If you go under that 3 miles per hour, you are going to die. And that is absolutely crazy. And that concept alone is already intense as it is. The fatigue that you start feeling once you walk for so long is absolutely insane, especially the amount of miles they walk. I think by the end of it, they're well over 200-300 miles. And it just becomes really crazy because this concept, you might think to yourself, oh, if you're physically fit, you're most likely to win. And to a certain extent, that's, fair to say, that's true. But a lot of it is the mental. It's totally the mental, and that's where the emotions start kind of breaking out of this, where the characters and the dynamics between everyone starts breaking down, what the mental starts to break. And just having that camaraderie between each other to kind of lift each other up was absolutely jaw-dropping, so emotional. Like, the chemistry between our kind of little group that we kind of follow for most of the movie, absolutely amazing. I think every single person in this movie did an absolute incredible job in terms of performances, the way they were able to kind of build a bond in just a short period of time, and you care for these characters in such a short period of time where we don't really know much about them, and we start to gather information as the movie goes on. But even at the beginning, where we don't know much about these characters, you still feel so connected to them. You're so invested in their character. The chemistry between all of them is absolutely amazing. So many great emotional moments, and it just all really just bleeds in together and makes a concept that sounds so simple. 50 people walking at 3 miles an hour sound boring, but it's not. It's one of the most intense movies I have ever seen in a theater. And then let's give it up for our main two guys. We have David Johnson, who is probably most known for at this point as Andy in Alien Romulus. And then we have uh, Cooper Hoffman. I don't remember if I've ever seen him in anything else. I'm sure I have. I just don't recognize that name, and I don't recognize his face either. But the chemistry between them two is absolutely beautiful. It's such a bond that they build, a brotherhood they build in these few couple of days that they're in this contest. And then you even have like Mark Hamill as the major, who he just goes into his very psychotic, aspect of his acting skills. And I thought he was a great person to play the major as well. And again, just so much emotion, little backstories that we get here and there for each one of these characters. It doesn't lean too much. That a lot of the stuff and a lot of the backstories are very much a mystery for a lot of these characters. But when the little that we get, it just enhances their character and their character arc so much more. Why they're doing this in the first place, why would they put themselves through this? And it's just absolutely beautiful, so sad, so emotional, especially Hoffman's character, especially his little moment he has with his mom when he's just part of the last couple of people. It's absolutely, again, just heartbreaking, jaw-dropping, emotional, intense, great effects. I'm not sure if they're practical or not. They look pretty practical, but great like gore and practical effects when it comes to like all the injuries that these contestants are sustaining, or when contestants get shot or things like that. Great effects, and you feel that kind of that hit. It hits pretty hard, and when they start dropping and people start going one by one, they all hit. Even if we didn't get a too much screen time with them or too much story or too much backstory, just the way they portray each one of them going down, it is just so emotional, so intense. You see the like despair in all the rest of the contestants face, and how they're starting to freak out and wondering like why would they even put themselves through this, and but they know they just have to keep going because if not, there might be next. And it's just a absolutely intense of a story. And also like this world that we're kind of in. They don't go too much into detail of what this world really is. I'm not sure if they go into more detail in the book, but essentially there was a war, and pretty much, I believe we're in America, but pretty much America is in a downfall where it's kind of more of a poverty world or a poverty country at this point. There's a lot more poor than there is rich and stuff like that. So this contest is supposed to somehow help revise America and help people kind of get some hope. And this is supposed to demonstrate that can't be lazy, and you should work hard to rebuild your country and things like that. And they've been doing this for years and years on end. And supposedly, according to the major, after every demonstration of the long walk, there has been an improvement in the economics and or just around the world essentially. So it's seemingly working, but who knows, they might just be kind of weaving their own story through that and just having fun with this. This is very similar to like Hunger Games, where they're just probably having a good time with it because you see it's broadcasted live. This walk is broadcasted the whole time, and there's people cheering towards the end when it's the final contestants and stuff like that. So to a lot of people, this is entertainment. It's not all about just making their economy a better place. To them, this is entertainment. So it's a very unique world that we're put ourselves into. And again, they don't go in too much depth of exactly what's going on in terms of the economy or in the world or what happened during the war and stuff like that. You just get little snippets, but the little snippets that you get, you kind of see how desperate everyone is, just in the fact that they are willing to do this walk just for the smallest, slightest chance to hopefully win that prize at the end. So if you were skeptical of the long walk and you saw the trailer and you said, really, just we'll be watching a couple of people walk for who knows how long, that sounds absolutely boring, I promise you, go give it a shot. You will not be disappointed. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my cons. And I don't have really much here. Really, the only con I can really give this movie is I wish there was a little bit more of a mystery in terms of who would have been the last contestants. Just by the trailer, you can already tell, who's going to be your final few. I do wish they kind of kept it a little bit more of a secret. and kind of bounced around between more of the characters and didn't keep it so tight knit of a story, because I feel like that would have been a nice little mystery. But it could also been a compromise to the chemistry that we got built between these couple of characters as well, if we bounced around too much. So I understand the little compromise there. I do love following these specific characters. I thought they were absolutely amazing, but by the end of it, it's kind of more obvious what's going to happen. They do kind of give you a little bit turn. If you've ever read the book, it is a slightly different ending. So I'm not sure if that's going to be controversial when it comes to people that love the book by Stephen King. It is a little bit different, but overall, it is still pretty obvious where it's going to end. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about The Long Walk in the comment section down below. Also, let me know if you guys ever read the book and what do you think about it? How do you feel about the differences that they made in this film? But again, if you guys like talking about movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.